dive into an exciting journey back to 776 BC, a time when the ancient Olympics had a far different face than the one we know today. The origin of these games is shrouded in mystery and mythology. Legend has it that they began as small local foot races, a humble beginning for what would become a grand spectacle. It's been recorded that the first official Olympic Games took place in 776 BC. This date is not just a marker of the start of a great tradition of athletic prowess, but it's also a testament to the deep-seated religious beliefs of the ancient Greeks. You see, the ancient Olympics were not merely about the fastest runner or the strongest wrestler. These games were a religious event, a grand celebration dedicated to the king of the gods, Zeus. So, unlike today, the ancient Olympics were not just about athletic competition, but also a significant religious event. As the years rolled by, the games evolved, growing in scale and diversity. Indeed, what began as a modest one-day event dedicated to Zeus gradually transformed into a grand 5-day spectacle. The games expanded beyond the initial foot race, incorporating a myriad of events that tested not only speed, but also strength, skill, and endurance. Wrestling was one of the early additions to the games. This wasn't the choreographed wrestling we see today, but a grueling contest where two men grappled until one admitted defeat. A no-holds-barred event, the only actions off limits were biting and gouging. Boxing, too, soon found its way into the Olympic repertoire. Unlike modern boxing, there were no weight classes, no rounds, and most strikingly, no gloves. The fighters wrapped their hands in leather straps, adding a brutal edge to an already savage sport. But perhaps the most thrilling of all was chariot racing. These races were high-speed, high-stakes events, with up to 12 chariots careening around the track at once. The drivers, often slaves or servants, risked life and limb for the glory of their masters. As the Olympics grew in prominence, it took on a central role in the Greek calendar. City-states would prepare for months in advance, selecting their best athletes, providing them with rigorous training, and even arranging truces to ensure safe passage to the games. It was a time of peace, when rivalries were set aside in favor of athletic prowess. However, the games were far from inclusive. Women were not only barred from competing, but also from attending the games. The only exception was the priestess of Demeter, who had a reserved seat at the stadium. These games, held every 4 years, became a unifying symbol for the otherwise fractious Greek city-states. An emblem of peace, honor, and athletic excellence, the ancient Olympics left an indelible mark on history, paving the way for the global event we know and celebrate today. But, like all good things, the ancient Olympics too had an end. A sense of finality hung in the air as the era of these hallowed games began to wane. The decline of the ancient Olympics, a spectacle that had once captured the imagination of the entire Hellenic world, was not a sudden event. Rather, it was a slow, gradual process, a gradual erosion that began with the Roman conquest of Greece. You see, the Romans, despite their admiration for Greek culture, didn't hold the same reverence for the games. The spectacle of the Olympics was, to them, more of a curiosity than a sacred tradition. The games continued, but their influence, their prestige, slowly started to diminish. But perhaps the most significant blow to the ancient Olympics came with the rise of a new faith, Christianity. As Christianity spread across the Roman Empire, the old gods and traditions of the Greeks were increasingly sidelined. The Olympic Games, a festival dedicated to Zeus, the king of the Greek gods, found itself at odds with this new monotheistic religion. The Games, once a symbol of unity and peace, were now viewed as a relic of a bygone pagan era. The final nail in the coffin came in the form of a decree. In the year 393, Emperor Theodosius I, a staunch Christian, banned all pagan festivals throughout the Roman Empire. This sweeping decree was the death knell for the ancient Olympics. The sacred grove of Olympia, once thronged by athletes and spectators from across the Greek world, fell silent. The echoes of cheering crowds, the thrill of competition, the honor of being crowned an Olympic victor, all were lost to the sands of time. Just like that, With a stroke of a pen, the ancient Olympics, after 1,000 years of existence, were no more. Yet the flame of the Olympics was not extinguished forever. It was merely dormant, waiting for the right moment and the right person to reignite it. That person was a Frenchman named Pierre de Coubertin. In the late 19th century, Coubertin traveled extensively, studying and appreciating the value of physical education. He was particularly interested in the ancient Greek Olympics, seeing them as the embodiment of the balance between mind and body. He dreamt of reviving these games, believing they could foster international understanding and peace. Coubertin worked tirelessly to make this dream a reality. His efforts culminated in the establishment of the International Olympic Committee in 1894. This committee's purpose was to organize the Olympics and ensure their continuity. Just 2 years later, in 1896, the first modern Olympics took place in Athens, Greece, the birthplace of the ancient games. The event was a success, with 241 athletes from 14 countries participating in 43 events. However, the modern Olympics weren't simply a carbon copy of the ancient games. They evolved to include a wider range of sports and, importantly, athletes from all around the globe. They also expanded to include women, a significant departure from the ancient tradition which had excluded them. These changes reflected the spirit of the times, embracing diversity and inclusivity. They also embodied Coubertin's vision of an event that would bring together people from different cultures and backgrounds, fostering global unity and peace. Today, the Olympic Games continue to evolve and grow, always striving to embody the Olympic motto, faster, higher, stronger, together. They serve as a testament to our shared human spirit, our drive for excellence, and our capacity for peaceful coexistence. And so the ancient tradition, reborn in a new form, continues to inspire and unite the world.